Broadcasting from Mogaishu, Somaliland, this is CBA. I'm Abdullahi Hassan. Welcome to the top of the hour news brief. The chairman of Somaliland's opposition party, Mr. Faisal Ali Warabe, has announced that Somaliland is participating in the inauguration ceremony of Ahmed Madobe, the controversially elected president of Jubbaland state of Somalia. Talking with the local media in Hargeisa, he said that Somaliland has formed a delegation of 6 members in different institutions of the republic to fly to Kismayo and congratulate the people and president of the state. He added that Somaliland is going to foster closer relations to all Somali states in order to convince them to recognize Somaliland as an independent state. Jubbaland postponed the swearing-in ceremony to unknown date after the federal government of Somalia temporarily banned the flights to Kismayo. In another aspect, Mr. Faisal Ali Warabe strongly condemned the president of the Somali federal government, Mohammed Abdullahi Farmajo, for posting a photo with a convicted torturer, Colonel Ahmed Yusuf Tuke, in Washington. UID leader said that Farmajo is gradually showing his true face of hatred and hostility towards Somaliland by colluding with war criminals who were responsible for the 1980s war atrocities in Somaliland cities. The photo of President Farmajo with Colonel Tuke sparked wide condemnation and controversy among the Somali people around the world. Colonel Tuke was a commander of the 5th Brigade of Somalia's army stationed in the northwestern region during the vicious crackdown on the civilians of the area in the late 1980s. Some of the victims of his alleged atrocities have ever since tracked him in an attempt to sue him in the courts of the United States. Finally, in May 2019, after much delays, he was convicted of torture in a Virginian court and was ordered to compensate one of his victims, Ali Warfa. 3 lawyers in Somaliland has alleged that they were barred from arguing before the courts after criticizing the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. The 3 lawyers, named Dahir Mohammed Farah, Abdirsaq Ismail Hassan, and Muhammad Ali Aref, held a press conference in Hargeisa today. They alleged that the Chief Justice of Somaliland's Supreme Court, Adan Haji Ali, has stopped them from appearing before courts. They added that the Chief Justice has taken the decision in retribution to complaints raised by the lawyers concerning the justice system in the country. They added that the Chief Justice does not have the legal power to stop lawyers from arguing before the courts. The regulating body that can suspend the license of lawyers is the Commission of Licensing Lawyers. This comes 2 weeks after the prominent human rights lawyer Mubarak Abdi quit his profession to what he called the absence of the rule of law. A high-level meeting due with Somali Partnership Forum officially started in Somalia's capital Mogaishu on Tuesday to assess the progress made so far and to devise future strategies in the country. The 2-day event was officially opened by Somalia Deputy Prime Minister Mahdi Mohamed Guled and attended by the leaders of regional administrations. Officials from more than 50 countries and representatives from 200 companies participated in the forum, according to organizers. The conference will be hosted by the Somali Deputy Prime Minister Mr. Mahdi Mohamed Guled, UN Special Envoy to Somalia Ambassador James Swan, and the head of AMISOM and the AU Special Representatives Ambassador Francisco Madeira. Deputy Prime Minister Mr. Mahdi Guled said that this will allow both the federal government of Somalia and the international partners to highlight the progress and acknowledge the achievements of Somalia has made to date. Ambassador Francisco Madeira of AMISOM affirmed that the presence of these many delegates from different countries here in Mogadishu is a collective vote of confidence for the progress that Somalia has made so far on the security front. On the other hand, the head of the United Nations mission to Somalia, Mr. James Swan, hoped that the forum will conclude tomorrow with a clear, shared vision strategy of the necessary priorities and how best to expedite their effective implementation. Meanwhile, 2 of Somalia's federal state members, Jubbaland and Puntland, have reportedly escaped the Somali Partnership Forum. Amnesty International on Tuesday accused the United States of killing 3 civilians in an airstrike in Somalia and failing to investigate claims that they were families with no ties to Al-Shabaab. Amnesty said its investigations revealed that the 3 were innocently killed in March 18 strike in southern Somalia. U.S. Africa Command AFRICOM had said that the men were jihadistas. However, the international rights group said AFRICOM had provided no evidence to support its assessment. It also accused the U.S. military of failing to follow up claims that the men were innocent despite promising to do so, or make any effort to contact their families. Amnesty says it interviewed 11 people about the March 18 strike, including co-workers and family of the men killed when their car was hit in Lower Shabelle, a hotbed of the Islamist insurgency in southern Somalia. It said all those interviewed in the investigation were adamant that none of the men was members of Al-Shabaab. In March 19 press release confirmed the strike, AFRICOM said it assessed that this airstrike killed 3 terrorists, and it was aware of reports of civilian casualties. AFRICOM is reporting on the strike, and correspondence with Amnesty International raised serious questions about its intelligence gathering and its targeting of what it claimed were affiliates of Al-Shabaab, which may have violated international humanitarian law. The Somali government is steadily ramping up tax collection efforts despite the challenges of doing so in a volatile environment. This is according to a senior finance ministry official. It is estimated that hundreds of companies, both local and foreign, have set up businesses in Mogaishu, and their staff members pay taxes deducted from their monthly salaries. The tax collected in the capital are sent to the finance ministry, which allocates funds to pay to the salaries of civil servants, build roads, and equip hospitals and schools. Muhyiddin Hassan Churus, the director of Somalia's Inland Revenue Department, says in a bid to raise revenue and provide social services to the Somali population, the finance ministry met with businesses and convinced them of the benefits of paying taxes. He said that the Inland Revenue Department works with a special police unit that helps them collect taxes from businesses around the city. Despite the steady progress that Somalia is making, tax collectors in the country are sometimes targeted by members of Al-Shabaab terrorist group, which also at times demand taxes from businesses. He said that the federal government is currently holding talks with its federal states to unify revenue collection. Somalia's overall revenue from tax collection totaled nearly $141 million in 2017, compared with $110 million in 2016. Media reports quoted Finance Minister Abdurrahman Duale Bele as saying, Somalia, which has been racked by civil war for over 2 decades, has been grappling with a lack of cash and is now determined to collect more tax revenue from its vast properties and other sources to pay civil servants' salaries and provide services. The United States says that none of its personnel nor those of its partners in Somalia were injured on Monday when a car bomb attacked at the Belidogle military airfield, but the attack was a cause for a U.S. response. In a statement sent to newsroom, it said Major General William Gaylor, the Africa Command Director of Operations, the United States said this attack, though ineffective, demonstrates that the direct threat Al-Shabaab poses to Americans, our allies, and interests in the region. The statement further heard that the incidents like this will not compromise the pressure being placed on this terrorist network by the federal government of Somalia and the international partners. AFRICOM confirmed that 2 airstrikes followed the attempt to gain access to Belidogle compound, and forces engaged the Al-Shabaab militants with small arms fire. 10 of the terrorists were killed in the incident, which also left a vehicle destroyed. The United States say no civilians were injured or killed in the retaliatory strikes, which has been a point of contention over the U.S. presence in Somalia. The US reiterated that its efforts are meant to deter terrorists while securing conditions for the Horn of African nation to return to a civilian government. The statement from the Africa Command further read, "The desired end state in East Africa is one in which terrorist organizations are not able to destabilize Somalia or its neighbors or threaten the US homeland, US citizens or our international allies." A second Al-Shabaab attack on Monday targeted a convoy of Italian military personnel who are part of the European Union training mission in Somalia. There were no immediate reports of injuries. Thank you for joining us. That's our news brief for this time.